Hello, YouTube. I am at home today. The weather outside is not that great. Spring is here, but it is cold outside, and I am just hanging out at home, tumbling some rocks, or, well, tumbling some black sand. Either way you want to look at it. Basically, tumble some rocks, try to make them look prettier and whatnot, and got some black sand in the mix. I, tumble it for couple of days, dump it out through this screen. This is like 100 mesh, maybe a 200 mesh screen. You can't even breathe through it. You gotta like force water through it, through this sand and stuff like that. And anyway, yeah, it breaks it up really, 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 really super fine from big chunks. And by big chunks, I mean like big chunks, decent sized chunks like this. Flaky layers, okay? Like what's this in the sand? In this big chunk of black sand, there's something else in there. What is that? I'm trying to focus with this phone. I'm using my phone today. What is that? What is that? It appears to be lodged in that big chunk of magnetite right there. This layered, flaky layers. You have to have flaky layered magnetite, or you're not going to have gold in it. Okay, some of these are kind of smooth because I've been tumbling them in the rock tumbler with, stuff like that. You take crap that looks like this. This is fluorite. This came from Colorado. We met a guy that owned a claim down in close to Salida, and he let us dig on his claim for a little while. Grab some stuff out there like that, throw it in a rock tumbler, and then it looks like that. It's all pretty. Yeah, so anyway, this is what Colorado magnetite looks like. There's a bunch of gold in Colorado, bunch of it. It's not quite as flaky, but you can see it does kind of have some layering going on with it. I'm sure if I bash this with a hammer and bash it up into little bits, you could probably, throw it into a pipe nipple and shake it up for a little while with some other stuff in there and bust it up into fine powder and see what's in there. And basically, go to Home Depot or Ace Hardware, ask for a iron pipe nipple, and it'll be like a piece of pipe, a couple inches across, and you can stick a handful of this stuff in there, and you shake it up with an impactor inside, some ball bearings, or a socket from a ratchet set that you don't have a matching ratchet for anymore, and maybe it's a little ragged out or something like that. And, throw it in there and shake it up for a little while. It's a nice workout, and you bust that stuff out of there. Here's another piece. I was keeping this piece separate, but it's kind of a cute little piece. I'll go ahead and dump it out. But yeah, it's another piece of black sand. I guess I'm being unfair here. I'm talking about black sand like it's a universal thing or something like that. Somebody on YouTube had mentioned that there's no gold in black sand, and that might actually be true depending on where you're at. You have to find big chunky pieces, or you're not going to find any gold in it. It has to be layered like that. There has to be other minerals trapped in those layers. Okay, and some of those layers, it's going to be gold. You're going to have gold just trapped in these layers. Okay, so you got to figure out a way to smash it up, either in a rock tumbler, or you, like I said, throw it in a pipe nipple. By the way, if you're going to Home Depot or Ace Hardware to buy your pipe nipple, do not purchase your ball bearings with your pipe nipple on the same day. They'll call the cops on you and put you on a watch list. It will not be fun for several years. Anyway, basically, yeah, this comes from Dahlonega, Georgia. Well, near Dahlonega, Georgia. It's an old placer mine claim. It's been mined several times by several different people. It's not too heavily contaminated with mercury, but there is some mercury on the property. In certain places, it gathers up, and you can find a whole bunch of it in one little area. But basically, Dahlonega, Georgia, and Sidney, Australia, by the way, opposites on the globe, the globe that they give us to play with. There's and on the other side there's Australia. Okay, so it's not completely to scale, but it's pretty close, pretty close. Maybe some people say the Earth is flat. Maybe in all actuality the it's like hacky sack shaped or something like that. Not completely flat, not completely square, not completely round. Who knows? Who knows? But if the Earth were once upon a time liquid, I guess you could say the purest gold on Earth may have wound up in Sydney, Australia, and in Notherrn Georgia. Maybe, who knows? But yeah, that's my spiel on black sand. Really, you have to make sure you have the right kind of black sand that's coming from the right area. I have the most gold bearing black sand comes from Georgia, I guess. In my experience, because that's the only black sand that I collect. I had been collecting black sand for a good while. It's basically it's not hard to collect if you're out panning. It's the last thing in the bottom of the pan with your gold is your black sand. Some of it is going to be chunkier than others. If you're in a heavy glacial region that grinds everything into super fine powder, you're not going to find big chunks of black sand like that. You're going to find little tiny pieces of black sand like that. What gets stuck in your screen, which is essentially just mud when it comes out on the other side of the screen. I mean, it's super fine stuff, and you need mercury to get it out, or you need nitric acid to get it out. Of course, our government makes it really hard for you to get that stuff. They don't trust that you're going to be using it for that kind of stuff. They don't trust that you're going to be, using all the proper, hazmat stuff, all the, proper ventilation and whatnot. They think you're, make yourself sick, make the public sick. And so, yeah, you're left to do what you can if you really want to get that gold out of there. But, I just think it's interesting that there is gold in there. First time I actually acknowledged that there could be a fair amount of gold in there in any of this was one day at one of our meetings at the prospecting club. The guy came up and he said, "You're the guy that collects all the black sand. You want to sell some of your black sand?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, probably not, I don't know what to expect to get out of it." And he reached into his pocket and he pulled a lump of gold out of his pocket, probably about the size of a golf ball or something like that. And he's like, "I got that out of a 5-gallon bucket of black sand." And I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I need to start looking into it, maybe. So if you're within, I guess 30 or 40 miles of Dahlonega, which is the epicenter of the majority of the producing section of the gold belt and the Notherrn Georgia gold belt. There's 2 gold belts running through Georgia. They're both about 20 miles, maybe 30 or 40 miles actually, wide and several hundred miles long. There's other gold belts that run through other states that vary in width and length. I have not been to them all. I do not know what they all produce, but like I'm saying, this is Colorado, and this is Georgia. Colorado had a lot of gold. It is everywhere, and for the most part, people just don't care. They'd rather grow grass, and by grass I mean just weeds out in the yard, hay for their horses. It's hard to get stuff to grow in Colorado. If you can get stuff to grow in Colorado out in the middle of the desert where everything dries out, it can be pouring down rain, and then 10 minutes after it stops raining, it's just bone dry out there. And so yeah. That's about it. Find a place that's got black sand, that's got gold in it, and then you can get gold out of your black sand. Alrighty, thanks for watching.